I do want to go over these settings really quickly and explain why I choose some of them. I have a couple different settings for this setup. Um, so for the heights, 260, 200 will take pretty much anything, and it usually won't nosedive at all. This 245, 175 setup will almost take anything. There might be some stuff that will throw it wild. It also does not nosedive. This slammed setting, I haven't tested it yet, but I did test it at 205, 135, and it handled quite well, but it does nosedive a little bit, but not too much. I think um, I think this uh, is more likely to not nosedive. Also, you'll see that the anti-roll in the rear is up a little bit compared to the others. And this is because when it is this low, it doesn't roll enough to get the rear end to like lose traction on one of the tires enough for the rear end to like kick out enough. So you do need to turn the anti-roll up a bit to transfer some weight, and it helps the rear end kick out a little bit. There's almost a little too much traction, um, which you might notice. Some other things I want to explain is toe angle. So toe out will make the turn in more lively when you're using it in the front. And toe out when you're using it in the rear makes the rear end more likely to slide out. So both of these are going to improve rotation at low speed. And well, I mean, technically this doesn't improve rotation at low speed. This does, but this helps you quickly start getting the car to rotate. Um, for your dampers, I mean, yeah, you're pretty much just going to want them all the way down. With the exception that in the rear, now this is, I haven't had a lot of time to make this perfect, but uh, if this is low, which typically you probably want it lower, but if it's low, if you lower it more than this at all, the rear end just kicks up way too much under braking, even with the rear end slammed like this. So I would keep this high. Now slammed, I haven't played with it, but when the car is this low, you might be able to reduce this a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. Um, and then for natural frequency, um, with the car this low, you might be able to bring it up a bit, but I haven't noticed that I need to bring it up. For tarmac, obviously you're going to want to bring it up. This is not tarmac optimized. This is definitely like um, and then for camber angle, I don't know what's best for the car, but I do know that like lower than 2, I would say probably lower than .05 is an issue. I don't know if raising this, and I don't know if raising this is going to be helpful or not. Now, for the differential, you're probably going to look at this and be kind of confused why this would be so high. The reason this is so high is the further you set this to the rear, the higher you're going to want to set the acceleration sensitivity. And the reason for that is that, setting this further to the rear basically reduces this effect. Um, and then, but I don't think I think this is significantly affected by this. So just FYI, if you were to set this to 50-50, you'd want to set this as low as possible, and then you'd want to set this lower, much lower. Actually, you might almost, if you were to set this to 50-50, you'd almost want to like jack all of this up and then set this as low as possible. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend that unless you were running it at like 200 horsepower, like maybe if I made a Dirt 400 setup. Um, Now, why I'm running uh, this medium and uh, so downsides, you do have to be more shifty, like you have to shift more. But the upsides is like if I was to set this to normal, here I'll show you really quickly. Um, if I set this to normal and then um, so what happens is this curve, I'm losing a ton of power in the lower RPMs. So now I have to worry about keeping the keeping the RPMs up all the time, and I actually lose torque. Um, I might have torque. I might have a little bit more torque earlier, but overall, you compare that to this. I've got torque on at the 2575. It'll break traction in first gear when turning, and while climbing, um, like you could have this set to 30, and in fact, if you're the type of person that adjusts this, what I would do is like anytime you're going downhill, you probably want this set to 30, and anytime you're going uphill, you would want it set to 20. And then 2575. Um, and For the gearing, the reason why you see fits so far out is remember that we're worried about keeping the RPMs above that certain amount where the or the torque and the horsepower drop off. So if you look, fit is coming in on a shift at the same RPM that the third, fourth shift is at. So this is perfectly fine. If you were to make this go um, to a higher speed, um, I would probably, I don't know, probably be trying to get more out of first. That like make first even higher of a speed, so that and then just make sure that you can break it loose. As long as you can break the rear end loose, you then it doesn't matter if first is like 100, or it doesn't matter if it's at 130 or 150. If you can break it loose, then it in the power band. Um, But anyways, for brakes, just keep it at normal, because if you run the high-end brakes, you're adding a ton of performance points and you're not improving your lap times much. And then clutch and flywheel, racing, and carbon propeller shaft, because both of these hurt your performance points, but they don't affect your lap time. Anti-lag, believe it or not, if you run it weak, it makes your um, it makes your performance points go up, and it'll drastically increase your off acceleration, um, uh, like engine braking, which is going to affect this. It'll like lock the rear up, the rear end, like depending on what your brake sensitivity is set up, it'll lock the rear differential up when you come off throttle. I personally don't like that. I would rather use the handbrake instead of just coming off throttle for like controlling the rear. And then, yeah. Anyways, hopefully. Oh, the last thing to explain is the ballast. I mean, if you're going for like an unlimited, like you were like you're gonna max out the horsepower. I would keep this at least at like 50 or 60 kilograms, and to maybe 40 to 60 kilograms it's slammed all the way to the front. Right now I'm just I have this added in because it does actually help a little bit the way it's set up. So hopefully that helps.